SwissBorg is the official partner of my channel where you can buy, sell, hold, and more importantly stake your cryptocurrencies. You can even earn yield on your stablecoins. Sign up with my link and you'll earn up to $100 worth of their native token CHSB just for depositing €50 worth of crypto. SwissBorg. Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's get straight into it then, shall we? So last night on the Patreon, we just started the stream, and about half an hour before there was that whole thing about Poland and blah blah blah, which sounds very black swanny. That's just one black swan, by the way. There's several of them circling the Bitcoin chart and traditional markets as well. So for the moment, it seems as though that isn't going to be a black swan, but who the hell knows these days? Anything's possible. Just also flipped around Twitter and I've seen that Genesis, there's rumours anyway, FUD, that Genesis might be liquidating GBDC to sort out their solvency issues. Honestly, you just really have no idea what's going on from minute to minute at the moment. There's just so many things, and so with that said, it makes crypto and Bitcoin specifically, and all cryptos really, highly risky to be involved in at the moment. And so with that kind of sentiment surrounding these charts, not just Bitcoin but traditional markets as well, because obviously if something was to happen, to involve NATO and all this lot, God knows how the markets would respond to that. And again, we're just one tweet away from something catastrophic happening on the charts, and so it's pretty dangerous and deadly when it comes to things taking place outside of these charts. And so for that reason, I'm certainly happy to sit on the sidelines for a while just to see what happens, because the way that Bitcoin looks, and we're looking at Bitcoin here on the daily, but let's just bring it to a weekly just to reflect on the situation on the weekly. There's your 200 weekly all the way up here sitting around at 24,000. Seems like quite a way away at the moment. We don't have a downward slope on it at the moment, but it doesn't really matter. The fact is we're significantly below it, which is it's a pretty nasty thing to be below a 200 weekly anyway. We're sitting currently around 30% lower than it. So I mean, from a charts perspective, there are still the glimmers of hopium that we reflect on from time to time, which is the bullish divergence across the money flow index, the RSI, MACD. We've got time and cycle pointing to November as a pivot area, really, to find a low. Certainly by December you'd expect that, but for the moment, we can't guarantee that the low is in. And if certain things keep happening, like FTX, and who knows what comes after that, because FTX was that was the bridge to which all the little cars were riding on. So it's almost, I would say, it's kind of hopium to assume that nothing else happens as a result of what happened to FTX, and we're yet to find out the consequences of that. So there's so many things going on beyond the chart. So we all know the deal with Bitcoin. Weekly, bad. Daily, bad. Below all major moving averages. Even if we take it to the 4 hour, there's nothing redeeming about it below all major moving averages. So I'm not really convinced of any further upside at the moment. And the thing to back all this up as well is that, look, we were talking about the Everything Bounce 2.0, and the Everything Bounce 2.0 took place. It took place beautifully. So Everything Bounce Part 1, we got that from the bottom to the top. Everything Bounce Part 2, we got in at the bottom, and I took profit on all my stocks that I bought for this bounce yesterday. The reason for that, really, was to try and front run the Dixie, which was having a bit of a reaction before we got to this level here on the weekly. This was the destination for the Dixie when we called the top over here, and this was the destination for it. Now, rather than waiting patiently for us to get a perfect test on it, I thought I'm just going to bite the bullet and take profit on all of that. It's been a good few weeks, let's face it. It's been pretty awesome when it comes to stocks, indices, commodities. Crypto, not the case, because that was, like I say, kicked down the stairs by FTX. So the Everything Bounce 2.0, as far as I'm concerned, has played, and that's done now, and that's finished. And so, it doesn't have to happen. We could actually be looking at a bull market, the beginnings of a bull market, or should we just say the end of a bear market for traditional markets. And, you know, people will say, well, what's the difference between that? I've had that comment several times before when I say it. The end of a bear market effectively means that we do not create a new low. And what we do is maybe meander around these areas, accumulating maybe to then basically move on, but we don't form a new low. So the lower lows are in. That's the end of a bear market. A bull market is where we start to print higher highs and then higher lows thereafter. That's the difference. So ends of bear markets don't necessarily go straight into bull markets. They can go into sideways accumulation, especially for stocks, for months, many months. And so that's the difference between the end of a bear market and the beginning of a bull market. So please refrain from those comments going, it's the same thing. Well, it's not really. It's not really. So that's one possibility, that the low could be in for stocks if we don't receive any further black swans that impact the global markets. That's all. So the Everything Balance 2.0, as far as I'm concerned, was worthy of taking profit on, even though we didn't hit the top of the trend line. It was enough for me. And also, I was a little concerned about the way that the euro was looking yesterday. It's looking better today, definitely looking better today. The reason we focus on the euros, this is how we managed to navigate through the Everything Bounce in the beginning, because we were looking at breakouts across indices, FX basically, that would transfer onto indices. So we got, you know, breakout from the pound, the euro, and Japanese yen, and pretty much everything in between, causing or reflecting dollar weakness. You know, it was as simple. Well, I say as simple as that. I mean, it's as simple as breaking down about 4 or 5 charts and overlaying the idea of what that would mean and the repercussions of that onto the value of stocks and hopefully crypto. But like I say, crypto never. It started okay, and it probably would have reached 26,000. That was my destination for Bitcoin, but FTX refused to allow that. But yeah, like I say, the euro actually looks a lot better than it does now, than it did yesterday when I was thinking of taking profit on this. We were peaking and coming back down to a bit of a scary area, really. If we start to close below 103 and definitely 102, then this is going to go back below parity and probably at that point then create new lows. Now, we do have a pump signal on this, which is nice to see, and we are sort of dancing around the idea of breaking out from the 200 simple and exponential. So if that is the case, then yeah, 107, 104, maybe just below 110 is realistic, and that would keep the Dixie, from basically just shooting straight back up to where it was, which is still on the cards. You know, we're not going to say that the Dixie is finished with its uptrend. A pretty bullish situation going on for the dollar, full stop. Let's face it. And, the last few times that we have been in this channel, we came up to the top, came down to the 50, similar to what we've done this time round, or what we were expecting, and then back up to the top to make a higher high. And it's at that point that we broke down and then made a lower high, and so on and so on and so on. Same kind of deal went on over here. Big, massive move up, back down to the 50. We kind of made our way back up to make a higher high overall before coming back down. Again, these are all series of higher highs and higher lows in the grand scheme of things. This channel's been going on for over 10 years. So it's the same kind of vibe that I'll be looking for on this one, and it's the same thing that I was looking for when we called the top on the Dixie and said the Everything Balance 2.0 is going to be in play now. But now that that's come to an end, we should expect it to, basically perform in the same ways that it has previously, which is find its way down to these kind of areas, bounce up. Whether we make a higher high is not too important. The fact is, I'll be looking for a bounce here anyway. It doesn't have to happen today. Like I say, the euro, the yen, the pound, even Australian, Canadian dollars, they all seem okay for the short term, very immediate short term, as in like today, for instance. But it's still, as far as I'm concerned, reached the areas to which I'd be happy with taking profit on. We gave it a 2 to 6 week period. We've been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in the making. We could still go on for another week before we meet our absolute destination. But for me, I'd rather bank that profit, especially considering crypto has been so useless. I was expecting to make more because I trade both stocks, commodities, and crypto, obviously. And the crypto side of things did not make me any profit this month. So I'm going to take the profit early when it comes to all the stocks and commodity trading that I've done as well, just to get that, just to bank that profit, really, just to get it in that bank. Christmas is coming. Right, so as in simple terms, I am highly skeptical about making any significant highs across anything at the moment. We are going to sit, or I am going to sit comfortably on the sidelines to see if the S&P can break above this area of trend line, which is basically we've got to start closing weekly candle bodies above 4125 basically, and higher. On a weekly, this is still a downtrend, and so we should treat it as that. The Everything Bounce 2.0 was a bear market rally, and it will be considered a bear market rally until proven otherwise. Same will go for Nasdaq and most of the stocks within all of these indices. And the euro, I'm going to keep a keen eye on because we are a major resistance right now, and the Dixie as well. And so transfer all of this information over to crypto, which was not subject to the Everything Bounce. It will most likely trend down with those other markets if they continue to go down, which they have a very realistic possibility of doing that because they're more or less at the resistance at the moment. So long story short, Everything Bounce 2.0 has most likely come to an end, or due to come to an end very soon this week. And with that comes the Everything Drop, which is what you'd expect when you're at a resistance and you've met the criteria from the low to the high. So I'm not bullish at this point in time. I'm not mega bearish, I have to say, but I'm not bearish. I'm bearish generally as far as my idea is concerned, but I'm not bearish enough to actually take shorts on this or anything right now. I'll be looking to see how this performs over this week into next week before I make any more judgment calls on whether this continues up or actually breaks down or basically goes sideways. But yeah, the big Everything Bounce 2.0 done and dusted. Bank the profit, sit back, enjoy the gains, and reassess for the next major big swing, which is effectively what we're doing here. We did a huge swing on this Everything Bounce 2.0. Now we need to reassess the longer term time frames on all of these charts to work out where the next big moves are going to take place. And again, black swans circling all charts at the moment, making it a bit more of a risky environment than it is anyway. But hopium still remains. The video I made last weekend about the cycle low and all the other criteria that goes into Bitcoin in printing a low, they're all still there. But the low itself, that's open to interpretation, and I'm not willing to bet that it's in. It would be naive to be adamant about anything like that, given the circumstances that have caused this to fall so fast in the face of everything else going up so strong. Right, I'll leave it with you there. Just be careful out there. Don't get too crazy. Don't get mad. We had a fix on the chart, and we played it for the best we could, and it worked out for everything apart from crypto. And you can blame Sam for that, can't you? You can blame Sam. It's not particularly the chart which was to blame. It was Sam, because everything did move, and Sam ruined it for crypto. Never mind. We'll like I say, sit back on the sidelines, reevaluate the situation now, as the Everything Bounce 2.0 has most likely come to an end. Right, thank you for watching. I hope you have a nice day, and take it easy.